I don't know about you, but I'd go to a coke zoo. I mean, it'd be kind of dangerous, what with the coked out chimpanzees throwing shit and the silverback gorillas just punching through brick walls, but make for a story if nothing else. What's up everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're an indie artist looking for an album review and some promo, you can hit up Luke at redmattersite.com. And what I have for you boys and girls today is another Rant review. This time is for Fetty Wap and French Montana's new mixtape, Coke Zoo. Now this album has solo tracks like Fetty's song Angel, which sounds just like something from off of his debut album, but it also has joint tracks where they're both doing the songs together, because that's what a joint track is. I just kind of over-explained it. Now, if you're not a fan of either of these artists by now, don't expect this one to make you a fan, because there's nothing here that's out of the ordinary. It's just the same old shit that you expect. And I admit, I've kind of liked Fetty this year, just in extremely low doses, but after hearing this tape, I feel like I've heard everything that he has to offer, because he brings nothing new to the table, and it's just more of the same. And as for French Montana, he has always been one of my least favorite rappers, so I went into this review trying to put that aside so I can be fair, but his auto-tuning is just some of the absolute worst out, as he shows us on the song The Last of the Real Ones, which drags on for 6 minutes for some type of reason. And I don't know if I can ever forgive French Montana for what he did to Mark Morrison's classic, Return of the Mac. That just breaks my heart forever, to be honest with you. Now, as for the production here, it's mostly just some simple synth-based stuff, but there is the song See Me, which has some really nice jazzy and laid-back production, which I thought was some of the best on the album. But then you got French Montana and Lil Durk doing their auto-tune crooning thing all over top, and to me that just didn't really fit at all, because the beat sounded like it was on some heavy type of shit, and auto-tune just takes away from that as far as I'm concerned. I just feel like if they had went in on this track just rapping without that auto-tune bullshit on some real shit, this could have been a great track. And as expected, the content on this mixtape doesn't get too deep, but I mean, come on, it's French Montana and Fetty Wap on a mixtape called Coke Zoo, so you don't really go into this one expecting life lessons and lessons about the pyramids and hieroglyphics or astronomical verses. And that's all fine, but it'd be nice if there was at least something great or interesting happening here, but honestly, there's just not, and it's all that typical basic content that you would expect, and it's not done in a unique way. For example, there's a song Power, which is just your simple hustle anthem that's all about chasing the money and not the fame. And the song Freaky is all about the freak hoes, as French Montana is telling them all to bust it open. And this song is just damn near unbearable, because Fetty Wap's "Yeah, baby" ad-libs are going on throughout damn near the whole thing, just over and over and over. And this is another song that drags on a lot. It's like 5 minutes long, it didn't need to be, and that "Yeah, baby" gets old really damn fast. And man, I'm not trying to be a hater here. Like, there are a couple of positives that I'm gonna get into, but when I just look at this for what it is, it's not really a good tape, and I think it's one of the worst projects that I've heard all year. But to get into a couple of the positives, I thought the very first track, First Time, was alright, because it's French Montana rapping without auto-tune, which makes him much more tolerable in my opinion, and he's just rapping about the first time that he did a bunch of stuff, so at least this one had a little bit of a concept. And that Fetty Wap song, Angel, that I mentioned at the start is alright, just because it's your typical Fetty song, but it's nothing new, and it just kind of sounds like a leftover that could have been on his debut album. There's also the song Gangsta Way with Chris Brown, and this would have been great if it was a Chris Brown solo, because it has some nice R&B production, and Chris handled his business, but then French Montana comes in with an auto-tune verse about being a boss who likes to floss, and it's just kind of cringeworthy, and I thought this should have been a solo Chris Brown track. Or at least it would have been much better, but I guess if you like French Montana or you don't mind him, you might not mind this song, and you might think it's better than what I thought. I mean, I thought it was almost alright, which isn't saying a whole lot, but you know, there are good parts to some of these songs. But as you can see, I just really couldn't find a whole lot of positives here. Like I said, I tried to put my feelings aside about French Montana and look at this for what it is, the value of the beats, the content, lyrics, just everything I look at whenever I review anything, and there's really just not a whole lot here that I can say is fantastic or top-notch. Even the production for an album that's supposed to be just simple bangers, there's not a lot of beats on here that really pop to me, and it's a lot of basic, simple shit like I already touched on earlier. And this whole mixtape, it just kind of comes across as rushed. It's like French Montana and Fetty Wap had some leftovers and decided to throw it all together in a pot and just mix that shit up like some sort of weird witch's brew or disgusting stew. Just like squid tentacles and chocolate and mayonnaise and just all kinds of weird shit in there. They mixed it up and you're kind of like, what is this? That kind of made sense. I mean, sort of, not really, but that's why it's a rant review, damn it. I let myself rant. So to those of you who are kind of wondering why I gave DJ Khaled's last album a 2 out of 5, and I know some of you thought I was being way too generous, wait until you hear this mixtape, because it's way worse, in my opinion, which is why I give it a 1.5 out of 5. I don't go lower because, like I said, there are a couple of positives here, and maybe French Montana and Fetty Wap fans will like this, but I'm not even sure about that because this isn't these two guys at their best. I'm not a big French Montana fan, said that multiple times because I'm not going to lie to you guys, but I can admit he had a couple hits here and there, some shit that I did like, Pop That was a dope song, but this mixtape here, it's not that great. And for just one more example of why I think this mixtape is really bad, listen to that first verse from Nit to Grit on the song Damn Chainz. It is just, whoo, serious contender for worst verse of the year. Just sounds like he's reading his shit and like he's completely uninterested. But that's just my opinion. Maybe I'm being too harsh. I don't know. You guys check this mixtape out for yourself. Let me know what you think. Do you like this? If you do, I really want to know what you like about it and why it's good. Because, you know, we all have different opinions on music. And I'm not preaching that my shit is the pure gospel and what I say goes. It's just my opinion because that's all I can give when I can review these mixtapes and albums, to be honest with you. So let me know what you think in the comments section, and make sure you do all that good YouTube and social media stuff, where you like my videos, you share them, you follow me on Twitter, you retweet the videos, and you especially subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time.